Good evening, Steve Norton, anxiety specialist here. And I've been asked to make this very quick video today about one of the people that have been on my anxiety program recently. And back end of 2020, after a year absolutely being inundated with people related with anxiety due to the pandemic, I made a decision, and that decision was to create a program for people who couldn't, in two things. First one, couldn't afford to see me privately. And the second one is that people that, for whatever reason, they couldn't get to see me. So my idea was to create an anxiety program which was an exact replica of what we would go through if we actually came to see me for a private one-to-one. So I painstakingly sat down and created an absolute replica of that from literally from the moment that they would come to see me, for every bit of hypnosis that we did, everything that we would go through one-to-one. I've recreated it, and I created something that I called a Rapid Anxiety Elimination Program. And quite recently, I've been getting messages from one of the students on the program, a guy called Chris Bell, who's been doing amazingly well, and he's been singing my praises all over. And every time I go on Facebook, there's little posts of Chris saying, see this guy, do this with this guy. And yeah, Chris has done amazingly well, and I've had lots of messages like that. So rather than me talk to you about the program, we're going to have a little chat with Chris today, and Chris is going to explain, you know, why he joined the program and some of the results, and we'll find out from Chris exactly what's been going on since he's joined the program. So I'll just add Chris to the thing now, and he should be on in a second there. Just give it a second there for Chris.
Hi, Steve. Right.
Hi, Chris. Let me just press this button. Yeah, there we go. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you doing, matey?
I'm very, very good, mate. I'm very, very good. And welcome to your first ever online podcast. How's it feel?
Right,
Nervous, yeah, definitely. But it's not something you do every day, is it?
First time ever for me, really. Like an interview. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want to say how great it is to see you doing this today. Chris, I just want to ask you really, what were the reasons why in the first place that you decided to actually join my program? Can you give me a little bit of a background of what was going on, what really prompted you to do something about it?
Yeah, well, I basically suffered for years and years and years, having the anxiety, the depression, all these negative thinking and negative thoughts go around in my head. I pretty much got to rock bottom where I felt like now I have to do something about it. I can't keep going on like I'm going. Obviously, I was highly recommended off a work colleague to come on board with the program. I thought, what have I got to lose? So anyway, it turns out when the first two lessons was just a massive eye-opener for us. Putting things into perspective. Obviously, all the negativity was just, I was playing the negative scenarios over and over from the minute I woke up in the morning to the last thing at night. I had to do something about it, and I'm very, very glad that I did.
So, what would you try previously then, Chris, before you came on my program?
I just constantly analysed every single little thing. Just obviously, I would have a certain thing to do at work, and I would sit there and I'd plan it. I would try and plan the event and what was going to happen. It was all like the what if scenarios were coming into play. I just got to the point where I couldn't live my life properly, but I was just obviously analysing every little day-to-day things. It was just a big chart of us. So, yeah.
So before you came on my program, what other things have you tried? Have you tried, you know, did you pop to see the doctors? Have you tried anything else, any self-help or anything like that?
I did CBT training. I did various bits of counselling and therapy, and I just couldn't get my head around it. Nothing was working. I was diagnosed, like obviously antidepressants. I was taking them, and I got to the point where I was on the full dose of them, and it just seemed to make myself worse. And I was literally, from waking up in the morning, I was just constantly anxious. I was getting all the physical symptoms. My legs were like jelly, butterflies in my stomach. I could just be sitting making a cup of tea and I'd be like, boom, anxiety kicking in. But obviously, since like doing the program, it's this anxiety and the depression has become a thing of the past. I don't actually think like that no more. Obviously, before I'd done the program, I was like very, very skeptical about it. I thought if it's going to work for anyone, it won't work for me. And I was absolutely shocked. I used to drink every day, every night. I think it was just to drown out all the things during the day. I hardly drink anymore now, and I haven't actually thought, oh, I need to stop drinking. I've just automatically stopped without even thinking about it. But yeah.
I think what happens is a lot of people, when we go to the doctors, we go through the normal route that doctors tell us to do. The usual thing is take some medication or go to see CBT. And I must admit, the vast majority of my clients go down that route. They try CBT, and a lot of the time do CBT, and they feel that they've failed it because they couldn't get it to work for them.
That was exactly it.
Yeah, was that your experience with CBT?
Exactly my experience. I did it 2 or 3 times, and I just thought, what is the point of actually doing this? I'm not getting any better, or I couldn't change my way of thinking. It was obviously until I'd done the first 2 lessons of the program, it was just like a massive eye-opener for us. Like a very massive eye-opener.
And did you find that the program was difficult to understand?
No, not at all. It was very, very simple. It's amazing how simple it actually was to follow the program. Like I say, I was one of the more skeptical people, but I thought, you know what it is? What have I got to lose there? I need to do something about it. And like all these different therapies and counselling sessions, like you said in your program, just fetches up things from the past, but it doesn't actually fix what the problem is. It's obviously the way you're thinking about stuff. Just full of negative scenarios, and I was just playing these scenarios over and over and over. And like I say, I don't actually have them scenarios now. I dismiss it straight away before I let it get hold of us. But I was just focusing on all the wrong things rather than all the right things. Focusing on what I didn't want to happen rather than what I did want to happen. Yeah. Going back a few months ago, I would not be able to sit here talking to you live on Facebook. You know, I'm a little bit nervous, but that's just only human, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the things I really wanted to achieve when I created that program is I wanted to make it so it was just simple to understand for just everyday people. And like I always say to people, my stuff it's never going to impress someone that's really into, like, you know, a doctor, a psychologist, people who are really big fancy words. The whole point of the program really was just to make it so that everyday people could literally absorb something and put it into practice straight away.
Oh, yeah.
Did you find that was the case for yourself?
It was perfect. The way it was all set out, and obviously the progress of everything from one lesson to the next lesson just kind of built on each lesson as you went along with it. But I'd say it was a massive eye-opener. I feel like I'm better than been in the last 20 years. Even before I had the anxiety, I've told people I'm glad I actually had it, because I feel better now than I originally would have, if you know what I mean. But
how soon did you find when you started using the program that you started to feel better in yourself?
It was probably the first week or 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. And like I say, I used to get all these negative thoughts popping in my head. And I obviously started dismissing the thoughts to start with. And then eventually it just seemed like them thoughts weren't coming into my head straight away, and I just didn't have to dismiss them. But yeah. It's not what you can choose to react to and what not to react to.
So you've been you've been with the entire program now, the whole 12 weeks of it. And was there more to it than what you actually thought there would be?
There was a lot more to it, yeah, a lot more to it. Like I say, all them years, I never thought that anxiety could be moved. I thought, right, once you've got it, it sticks with you for life. And obviously, like I say, I was skeptical. I thought, this is another one of them things type of thing. And I tried it, and I was absolutely amazed at it. Honestly, amazed at the results. So I just want to find myself now. I just want to help people, and yeah.
Yeah. So looking at the future for you now, with the information you've now got and the knowledge you've got, how do you feel about the future now, like moving forward?
Very, very positive for the future now. Very, very positive. Like I say, when I'm going back to work, I'm doing things now. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, but I would never thought I'd be able to do it again because of certain situations. And now I just want to go in. I'm actually up for the challenge. I'm pushing myself to do things rather than like try to avoid these certain situations. But there's a massive change, and my partner's seeing a massive change. So I can concentrate better. It's just a plus all the way through it.
That's amazing, really, isn't it?
Very, very amazing. Yeah.
What would you say when I was sitting on the fence thinking, well, should I do it? Should I not do it? I've tried things in the past that hasn't worked. I've tried CBT, medication, counselling. What would your message to those people be?
just pick up the call and give you a shout. Don't suffer. Don't suffer. There's no reason to suffer. Anxiety can be getting rid of. It's not set in stone. You can work at things, and it takes very minimal effort to get the results that you require. Like I say, I never thought in a million years that'd be a success story, but here I'm a success story, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just my whole life in general has changed, yeah.
Some people have the idea that doing an online program only without seeing me just wouldn't be effective. Some people say, often when I tell people about it, they'll say, yeah, it sounds good, Steve, but I've tried online things before. They haven't really worked that well, so I'm not really sure about that. What would you say to people who think that?
I'd say just you've got to see it for yourself. You must try. You must do it. If you've got no other options to do, just go for it. Like I say, I've tried everything. I'm off antidepressants. I never thought in a million years I'd be on them. I've been off them for 3 or 4 weeks, probably a little bit longer actually. And you don't need antidepressants. You've got to change the way you think. It's your thought process. But yeah, it's, just do it. Just make that call. I couldn't say it enough.
You are a success story, mate. And like it says on the program itself, everything's about consistency. It isn't something that we do for a few weeks. It is something that we keep up going. But the beauty of the online program is that you can actually just go back to the start at any time you want. You can go back, you can revisit it. Once you download the materials, you keep it for life. So it's not a thing whereby it's not like a time release thing on it where you have to do the 12 weeks and you get kicked out. You can download the materials and you keep them. So I think that's one of the best things about that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like I say, I've found myself going back to certain parts of the lessons and stuff just to give you that bit of a recap. Like I say, Tanya's always been there for you. But yeah.
Well, Chris, I just want to say a big thanks for coming on today and doing your very first podcast ever with me.
It didn't go as bad as I expected.
Yeah, well, isn't that always the case? But the thing is, things are never as bad as what we think, and that's one of the things it says in the program, isn't it? So, well, give yourself a big pat on the back, mate, and keep up with what you've learned, and no doubt we'll catch up soon. So have a fantastic night.
Excellent. You too. Thanks very much, Steve. Bye now.